Hi there everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another episode of Should You Pull for Final Fantasy Dissidia Opera Omnia. And today we're going to be talking about Barret, Tifa and her EX, and Maria, as that's the banner that came out today. Now, I did actually just come back from Crystal Cup for Final Fantasy TCG, and I will be making a extended video on my experience with that, and it was a very, very good weekend. But I wanted to get this out as soon as I could for my Opera Omnia followers, so everyone knew early whether this banner was worth pulling on. So if you're interested in checking out this banner, and whether it's something that was going to speak to you, then stay tuned and keep on watching. As always, don't forget to check out all my social links in the description box below, including Discord, Patreon and Twitch if you want to follow me on any of those, as well as all the other Opera Omnia content creators out there, and a big shout out to DissidiaDB.com, where I get most of my information from, and it's an incredible resource for everybody that should be checking out. And I'd also recommend that you guys check out the subreddit for Dissidia Opera Omnia as well, which I'll leave a link to in the description box below as well, because there's going to be loads of people doing the same things that you guys are doing, and therefore you get kind of a lot more experience from other people. Now we're going to start with Maria. Now we've already had a Should You Pull video when it came to Maria, and that was when her EX weapon was on the banner, and I said no back then. So honestly, my opinion hasn't changed on Maria at any point during this banner either, but it's important to note that a lot of characters are going to be useful within events that they have synergy for, and this is no different. If you already have Maria, she's going to be really useful for the event, because the bosses in Barret's event are weak to both wind and ranged attacks, and Maria covers both of those things. But if you were gonna pull for Maria, you were gonna pull for her during her EX banner, and because her EX isn't present, it's a very, very quick and easy shot to say, well, you're not going to do it now if you were going to pull for her before. So honestly, I wouldn't be recommending pulling for Maria based on just her 15 and her 35 if you didn't pull for her during her EX banner. So now we come to Barret, who is the title character for the event. He's the new character that's coming along. Barret is a damage dealer. That is his primary command. However, the thing that he has that's slightly nicer and a bit more appealing to Barret than other characters is very similar to something that Agrius has, which is a singular framed buff in the form of Avalanche that comes off of his grenade bomb attack that buffs your entire party and not just himself. So it doesn't take up the slots for other buffs that you might have on your party, while still being able to have your entire party benefit from it, which is a really nice thing to have, as we've seen with Agrius in the past and her Brave mechanic. So Avalanche does very much the same sort of thing. But what you have here with the global is you don't have he doesn't have an EX, we know that for sure. He doesn't get that for quite a while. Tifa is the character that has the EX on here, so what you see here you can kind of ignore with Satellite Beam, and the physical attack all is something that comes much later as well. But the two attacks that we have here in Big Shot and Grenade Bomb, one is just a ranged bravery attack that gives him physical attack up for 2 turns, and if you have his weapon, it improves the potency of it, which is nice and simple, it's nothing too special. And if you have the extension for it, it triggers an HP attack on the condition of the fact that you hit a certain percentage of your bravery, and it extends that physical attack up, buff to your entire party and makes it longer. But as you can see, we've seen what we've got here in the global, but later down the line, when when he does get his EX in Japan right now, he gets a rework, which makes him much, much better. So with Big Shot, it ends up being much, much stronger, and it has an unconditional HP attack after its use, and it has a Brave Overflow mechanic, which makes it much stronger. But we don't have that right now, and the same applies to his 35, or his second attack in Grenade Bomb. That's the attack you want to be using more than anything, because it's the one that grants Avalanche. And it's an AoE Brave attack, which if you have access to his 35 CP weapon, it gives you additional stacks of Avalanche when you use it, and 2 of them, it's only a maximum of 5, but the attack and max Brave Up buff you get from Avalanche is actually quite substantial if you have a large number of stacks. So he certainly isn't a bad character by any means, but he is quite simplistic. And then if you have his Grenade Bomb extension, it makes the Avalanche duration last longer, and it also has an HP attack attached to the end that is an AoE sort of, split damage job. And then when you have Avalanche active, your Brave Attack becomes Brave Attack Plus. But again, in Japan, you end up with a lot more that goes onto it for when he gets his rework. You get Brave Overflow, you get a bigger potency, it hits more, which we all know makes a massive difference with these things. So then, you get an HP attack plus as well, which is a ranged Brave HP attack, so that's worth noting. So do I think that Barret is worth grabbing now? Not really. Not with the stuff that we have coming up. Kuja is coming out in 4 days. So he's out this Thursday, I believe. And believe you me, I will be making a video about him. We all know how much I love my Kuja. But, you know, when you've got a character that is... Like, if you throw a few tickets and happen to get Barret's 35, because you obviously already get his 15 just by doing the event, then great. He's going to be really useful to you for the event. However, with Maria and Barret... Then, and Tifa, to be honest, I think the thing to remember is if you're spending resources on characters just to clear their event, some people have like a mentality where they have to clear everything, but if you're spending more just to try and clear it than you get back by clearing it, is it really worth it? And are you going to use Barret a lot in the future? So the thing that you have to bear in mind before pulling for anybody is the longevity of the character. If it's going to be a one and done job where you use the character for their event and then they get put in the stash and you never use them again, then it's probably not worth grabbing them. That being said, we have the Theta Heretic missions at the moment where you're required to use an absolute metric butt-ton of characters to try and clear it all. And Barret would be very useful for that because there is a range-specific mission where he'd absolutely excel. So he's going to do really well in that. So I don't recommend pulling for Barret personally, and I'm not going to. But if you did, he'll have his uses. If you have him and Agrius in a party, then Avalanche and Brave do stack, so there is that to bear in mind as well. And finally we come to Tifa. Now the reason I've left Tifa till last is because she gets her EX weapon on this banner. So if you're going for the EX, this is the one that you'll be getting. So looking at her command abilities, we can read what the EX attack does, which is Dolphin Blow. 2-hit melee Brave HP attack, overflow up to 150%, guaranteed launch, which is a thing, and then you get Fever Time, which is like extra buffs for her, and it extends her Zangan Wei duration that she gets from her battle cry. But this is nice because it's a guaranteed launch. You know, we are starting to come away from launch meta a little bit in favour of just raw damage dealers. However, launch is never a bad thing to have, and it's certainly a nice thing on top of Tifa's fairly underwhelming kit. You know, when she first came out, she was one of the first characters in the game. She was built to beat skeletons, and that's not that big a deal. She got her 60-60 Awakening not too long ago, which gave her damage boost, which gave her Brave Overflow. She can hit really, really hard, and she gets conditional Brave HP attacks from Beat Rush. The Battle Cry becomes better, and then if you have her 15 and 35 weapon... the Beat Rush, the 15 CP doesn't really do an awful lot. It boosts the success rate of an attack down, which is nice, but you're not really using Tifa as a debuffer. There are much better characters you could be using for that. And then, the Mithril Claw 35 CP weapon just makes it so that she gets more bravery out of what she gets. It improves the effects of her buffs and extends their duration, and it makes it so that she gets her next turn quicker after you use it. So let's go and look at the EX itself. So if I go onto here and look at Motor Drive, then we can look at what we have coming from the limit breaks for the weapon itself. All it does is pretty much just a little bit more damage, and your Fever Time is going to last longer, which the reason that these kind of limit break abilities are useful is because they tend to last up until you're ready to use the EX attack again. And it's got a normal speed of normal speeded recast time, which means you're going to be able to proc it quite frequently, and you're going to want to proc it quite frequently. But because it's a launch attack, you want to reuse it at the right time. So specifically, where Tifa is first and you have 2 characters after her, so you get the most out of the launch. But we've seen characters like Zidane do it very, very well, and there's nothing wrong with her EX. The problem with Tifa is that there are so many characters fighting for her spot in your party. And until she gets her rework back over in Japan, she's not particularly powerful. When she does get her rework, however, look at the state of her attacks on this page. It's like everything goes crazy. When she breaks a target, she gets Beat Rush Plus, which makes the Brave Overflow much stronger. She just becomes a much, much stronger character, and then and this doesn't happen until she gets her EX Plus, which we've got a long, long time to wait for. And when that comes back, she's going to get a re-release of her EX, and that's going to come out alongside Barret's EX. So honestly, unless you're a massive Tifa fan, and I know there are loads of you out there, I wouldn't really recommend pulling on this banner for Tifa either, if I'm perfectly honest. I just don't think that there is anything that Tifa brings to the table that isn't already currently available. If you have Zidane's EX, you have pretty much no reason to go for Tifa at all. And you've just got much better characters coming out in the near future. And I said this in my May overview. Kuja's out in 4 days. Quistis is coming out soon. Paladin Cecil's coming out soon. We have June where we're likely to get Rinoa. There's a lot of really strong characters coming out in the near future. So if you're a massive fan of Tifa, there's nothing wrong with you going for her. She is stronger now. Now that she has an EX, she is perfectly playable. But she's not meta-defining. So honestly, would I recommend pulling for Tifa? Not particularly. So something else I'm going to start doing as well is I want to redirect everybody to the subreddit for Dissidia FFOO, because I think that it's important for people to look at it, because I want you guys to know that it is possible for you to complete a lot of these events without actually having to draw on these banners at all. So looking at Barret EX's strategy thread, we can look at some of the characters that people are using. So for example, there you go, first one up here is Noctis, Agrius and Kate Sith, and then we've got Lightning, Barret and Lilacet with a Tifa EX support, so there is reason to use Tifa. So some people are like, I mean, if you got Lightning and Bart's EX, you were pretty safe from the get-go. I didn't get Bart's EX, unfortunately, but I did get Lightning's, so I will probably use Lightning when I clear it. There is a Tifa EX here, so it's obvious that there's going to be a lot of characters in which you're going to want to use these characters for their synergy, but there's so many runs here. Like, there's one here with Zidane, Lilacet, and Kate Sith, with a Lael, Friend, and Pandemonium, so you can use the launch team for it. Then you've got, let's see what else we've got here. Agrius, Tidus, Kate Sith, Thancred, Kate Sith, Bart. I mean, Thancred is always going to carry you very well as well. Upsettingly, I didn't get him either. But there's all I'm trying to say is that you can see from just what I'm showing you here that there are a lot of characters that work very well that make it so you really don't need to pull on this banner at all unless you're a massive fan of Tifa or Barret. And Maria, honestly, is a pretty throwaway character on this banner, if you ask me, because, like I said, it wasn't that long ago we got her Lost Chapter and her EX, and if you really love Maria, you would have pulled for her on that. So that's going to be it from this video. So, would I pull on this banner with Barret, Tifa EX, and Maria on it? No, I wouldn't. And would I recommend it to anybody else? Unless you're a massive Tifa fan and can't wait until she gets a rework and a reprint of her EX where she's a much better character, no, I wouldn't recommend this one either. Save your gems up for this Thursday. You've got Setzer on that banner, which if you didn't already get it in lock, he's an extremely good character right now. Yuna is, unless she gets a rework, unfortunately completely throwaway. But Kuja is extraordinarily powerful, and his EX really turns him into a monster. So I'm very much looking forward to Thursday, and I hope you guys will join me later on this week for a video where I'll be doing my pulls on here, and I'm sure you can all watch me, you know, have to spend 75,000 gems on my favourite character. But that's going to be it for me. Thank you ever so much for watching. I hope that this video has given you some insight as to how the banner is looking and how the EX is going to go and what you can use to experiment to beat it. If you want me to do clears for some of these things on my own account, then let me know in the comments below and I'll be sure to upload some of those. And if you're a Final Fantasy trading card game follower of mine and you want to know how Crystal Cup went, that video is going to be coming out very shortly as well. So thanks very much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell for notifications. And I'll see you guys soon. Take care.